Hi everyone, I'm Sanjay Raj from the Energy Shift Method,
And I'm Preeti Wadhwani from Another Perspective.
and this is the
The
Two
Two
Bunnies
Bunnies
podcast.
podcast.
All right, so in today's episode, we're going to be talking about this concept of manifestation, right? So in the previous episodes, we touched a lot on the subconscious mind, and I know people are wondering, so what does the subconscious mind and clearing limiting beliefs have to do with the manifestation aspect of it? So I guess let's
Yeah.
kickstart.
Right, so before Jay goes into the little bit of the explaining, because he does that really well, so I'm going to leave that to him. I'm going to tell you a story of mine, right? So we were in a class, a Theta Healing class, and if you haven't heard about Theta Healing, we explained it in the last episode, so go check that out. So back to the story, we were basically doing a class that focused on, I think, wealth and abundance. I think it was that class, or it was another class. And our teacher told us to just write a list of things that you wanted. And it was strange because she gave us, I think, 15 minutes to complete this list. And everyone just got so excited and everyone started writing. And I just stared at my paper blank, right? And I really, really tried to think of things that I wanted. But the challenge that she did give us back then was you have to write at least 100 things, right? And I was like, oh my God, I can't even think of 5. How am I going to think of 100, right? So she gave time, and lo and behold, time went up and everyone had their list but me. And so she looked at me and she said, Preeti, what's up? Like, don't you have a list? And I'm like, no, I don't. And she's like, that's strange. Why do you not have a list? And when she asked me that, again, my initial reaction was to be very defensive and said, you know what? I'm content. Why do I need a list? And she chuckled and she was like, you can still be content and still have a list, you know? And I was very confused why she told me that, because to me, the meaning of being content was to just be happy and not ask for more because you're contented in life. And so she started doing a session with me, and we did do a little bit of digging as what we do in Theta Healing. And we basically found out that I had a couple of beliefs, right? The first belief, as I mentioned, was the more you're content, the less you want in life. And so if I wanted a lot of things, that would mean that I'm not content. And so why would I not be content? The second one was the more you ask, the greedier you are. And I was not willing to be seen as someone who is greedy. Hence, I had blocked myself of even thinking of a list that I wanted. The third belief was the more I ask, the less grateful I am.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was the biggest, right? Because for me, I grew up where my parents continuously told me, like, oh my God, Preeti, be thankful for what you have. And of course, they meant it in the best way, right? Because as kids and as adults, we need to be thankful. But what my brain kind of connected two and two when I was a child was, oh, if I'm thankful means I won't ask for more. If I'm thankful, I will not want more. If I'm thankful, then it's wrong to ask
It's
for
wrong, yeah.
more.
I think that was the big one, right?
Yeah.
Like, if to be a grateful person, it's wrong to ask
To
almost,
ask
yeah.
for more. And the statement over here being more, right? Because when we did this course, life was going great. Like, I had a good job. I was in Singapore earning good money. Things were stable. And the reason I was stuck was because I couldn't ask for more, right? And so when we did the clearing back then, we focused on a lot of guilt that I was holding on to, wanting more, asking for more, dreaming for more. And after clearing that, these beliefs that I just mentioned, I was then able to go home that night and very, very, very easily do 80 things, right? And ever since then, my life has not been the same. And that was a turning moment and point, because I grew up with The Secret, right? I think we both did
yeah,
in
we
that
started
extent.
The
And the
Secret.
law of attraction. And again, all of these theories made sense because I did have a vision board. But for me, my ceiling was that asking for more and going above and beyond.
Yeah.
So that was a big, big turning point, and how I truly learned what it took to manifest, and what are the possible blind spots that I had to creating that life.
Yeah, and the way I understood it back then, right, when we were doing this manifestation list, it sounds very magical and all that, but on a psychological level, it's basically getting very clear with what you want in life. You know, it's like writing your goal list, call it a manifestation list, goal list. the outcome's still the same. It's getting clear on what you want. And sort of the analogy that was presented to me was it's like a GPS coordinates, right? So if you're just aimlessly wandering around without having a destination in mind, then your mind doesn't really know where to push you towards, what to work towards, what to get excited towards, and then you're just gonna be floating, wondering like, okay, nothing's really happening to me. I'm not moving towards my goal. But it's because those GPS coordinates, the things on your manifestation or goal list, are just not there.
Yeah, they're not precise enough, right? So I think just touching upon what Jay said in terms of GPS coordinates, it's like having Google Maps and then putting your current location in, and then for a destination to go, you put anywhere, right? Or somewhere, or Asia, right? You're kind of specific by saying Asia, but where in Asia do you want, right? What kind of place are you looking for? The beach, the mountain, a river?
In a specific city.
A specific city,
Yeah.
right? So it's the specifics that, to be fair, stressed me out as well, because I think I had this other belief while doing this work that said, what if I get too specific and I'm not happy with what I want, right? And that brought up a lot of feeling of blame, like I don't want to be blamed for this, or what if I make the wrong choice? And there was this fear of making the wrong choice because, again, based on my belief system, it was God knows what's best for you, so don't bother asking, right? Or whatever is best will be shown to you. And as much as I do believe in faith, right, it's a big part of me and a big part of what we do, I think sometimes being a little more specific can allow you to create the life that you want to create with a lot more ease. So I think that was another big one for me, that what if I manifest the wrong thing and I'm not happy with it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how we came to be big fans of manifestation lists. In the work we do with clients, we call it the alignment list, right? That's something that Preeti uses a lot.
Yeah, so
with
from
her
going
clients.
to not at all manifesting to now, I would say loving to do it. It's this 10-point alignment list that Jay and I created, because at the end of the day, what we also learned was it's so important to manifest, not just for one or two things or one or two areas, right? So when we think of manifestation, the first thing that comes to most of our minds, especially with the clients I work with, is money and career and relationships, with like finding a partner.
Yeah.
But what we don't realize is there are so many other areas that need or would be nice to kind of take into consideration.
Yeah.
And that's because all of our lives are interconnected, right? So in this 10-point alignment list, we look at relationship with yourself, relationship with your partner, with your family, what kind of lifestyle you want to live, the kind of career you want to have. And the reason why this is so important is because you are a person living all these different roles in life. And so whether you like it or not, you kind of are connected to all of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and when we were doing all these classes before that, our teacher gave us this really nice story analogy that described it. She spoke about this guy, right? And he was manifesting a mansion. He wanted a big house.
I remember this.
And he said, okay, I'm manifesting a big house. So he did his vision board. He did his alignment list. He had like the specifics of this house and mansion and where it was gonna be, and that's all he was manifesting for. And after a while, couple of years passed, and he realized, he wasn't getting anywhere close to this nice big house.
Yeah.
So he goes in to his mentor, healer, and basically she asks him, so tell me what would happen if you moved into this nice big house, if you had this manifestation come true, what would happen? And he said, of course it'll be fantastic. Nothing's wrong. I have my big house. I'm happy. And she said, okay, like really tap into it. So I'm guessing this went into a theta session and got him to dig deep and really put himself in a realistic position when he had a big house. And he started to realize that if he had a big house, his in-laws would start to move in, and he didn't have a good relationship with his in-laws at all. And it was just the family dynamics was such that by default, the in-laws would naturally just have to move in, and he would have to say, okay. So on some level, he was happy with having the house, the big house, but having a big house meant more rooms, and that meant to him losing his freedom, losing his privacy, losing just his, it's just like chillness, okay? So in some sense, what that meant was, it's like he's stepping on the accelerator of manifestation, but because of all those limiting blocks that quite yucky when it comes to having a big house. You're stepping on the brake. So he was accelerator and brake at the same time, and he just wasn't moving towards his manifestation. So that's where it gets a bit tricky, and that's why the alignment list is important, because then you have to manifest not just the physical material things you want, but the family dynamics, the relationships, the lifestyle, and when all that gets interconnected, that's when it's most powerfully going to pull you towards your manifestation.
Yeah, and I think what beautifully was explained in the story is the conflicting beliefs and mindsets, right? So it's like you want it, but then you don't want it, and you're kind of figuring out which one you do want and don't want. And again, at the end of the day, it's all a part of your subconscious mind. Now, something to note about your subconscious mind is that it is always, always trying to protect you. Right? So it is never trying to harm you. It will always look out for you. So this guy's subconscious mind was going, oh my God, we should not be giving him this house, because who wants to lose their freedom? So you know what? Let's protect him and let him just have a small house, because at least now he has his freedom. So it's really cool to see how twisted these beliefs can be that we have in our subconscious mind. And I think something that I also realized while just purely working on the alignment list is a lot of Asian women, when they start doing these exercises, right, and they're like, for example, relationship with myself, I'd love to be kinder with myself, or I'd love to be a little more disciplined, and with my partner, I'd love to have more date nights, and with regards to career, I hope I get that promotion, and I want to get that promotion, and when it comes to lifestyle, I really want to go on holiday in this place, and I really want this bag. And while doing this list, I can see their face change, or they often look at me and say, Preets, do you think I'm asking for too much? Right? And so just the mere awareness of completing this list allows you to understand so many of your thought patterns, so many spaces, nooks and corners where maybe you really want that job, right? But you have this guilt that, oh my God, if I get the job, am I going to be able to spend time with my family? Or, oh my God, I really want that money, but if I do get that amount of money, does it mean like
family life is going to take a hit?
Family life is going to take a hit.
Right? So then subconsciously you're like, okay, my family life is going to take a hit.
I got to sacrifice.
I don't think I should go for that job. So again, right, it's accelerator, brake. And that's why a lot of people get stuck. They feel stuck in their career, stuck in their relationships, stuck in the lifestyle they're living. And actually, one very popular one with a lot of clients, especially when it comes to money, like everyone wants to manifest money, right? Like more money, more income and all that. But some of us have this subconscious belief growing up where people would have told us where money is the root of all evil. Or when someone has too much money, they are like a crook, and
or actually another one, if you have too much money, friends and family are going to take it away.
And
you don't want to share, so you're
and everyone's going to ask me for money, and I'll lose my money if I don't give give money. I'll be seen as a bad person. And so, and we can go on forever and ever with all these subconscious beliefs relating to just wanting more money. So if you can imagine, all of you listening there, right, if you've been thinking, I want to make more, but why am I not making more money? There could be some subconscious beliefs that could be holding you back. Could be.
Yeah, and to get that, right, either you can come and have a session with us, of course, but I would actually, for those of you who do journal, maybe ask yourself this question of, what is it that I love about not having money? Or, second journal prompt is, if this does happen, what bad can then come? Right? Because both of these questions will allow you to understand deeper subconscious beliefs that maybe you kind of sort of knew, but then you're not really acknowledging. But then once you put it in black and white on paper, you're then able to see the number of reasons why you still haven't been able to manifest the amount that you're looking for. So 2 journal prompts, definitely would recommend doing it. Another thing that comes up is when it comes to manifestation, it's very important to know that we're all continuously manifesting, right? So we're all creating our lives as we speak. And so something that Jay and I also realized, besides your subconscious beliefs kind of impacting what shows up in your life, is your ability to receive it, right? Because a lot of times we want what we want, but are we able to truly receive it? I'm not so sure, right? So something that I often ask my clients is, oh, look, you're manifesting for, thousands of dollars, or you're manifesting for that big house, or you're manifesting for that promotion to come with a lot more ease without you having to stay up in the office for that long. answer this question for me. If you're going out with a friend and they want to buy you a cup of coffee, would you be willing to receive it? Right? And you would be shocked. And I really want you to ask this question to yourself as well. Are you willing to truly receive a cup of coffee just because, right? No reason, no justification, just because.
Yeah, without obsessing over, I need to pay this person back, I need to buy a coffee back for this person, you know. And with my clients, what we usually do is I ask them this question. If someone buys you a coffee on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being how much you obsess over wanting to give something back and reciprocate, and 1 being totally open and free to just receive it. Thank you. You know, like I'm really appreciative and being grateful.
Yeah.
And if you fall closer to the 10, then you know you might subconsciously have a receiving capacity block.
Right? And the point we do this is because if you're not willing to receive a cup of coffee, how are you then willing to receive the big things in life, right? Like, how are you willing to receive that $100,000 promotion or bonus just because you do the great work, right? And if you, again, I think Jay in the previous episode spoke about having to work hard in order to get success. Maybe that could be another subconscious belief that you do have, that the harder you work, you need to prove it, you need to be worthy of it, and then only you can get it. And having such beliefs would then just make your manifestation definitely come true, but it would take a lot more longer, and you would have to struggle a lot harder in order to receive your manifestation list. So I think receiving is another big thing that we work on besides the 10-point alignment list, because I think for that, it's a concept that was taught to us by Access Bars, and that was such a game changer in terms of our manifestation list and journey and our creation of life.
Yeah. So something like, you know, Preeti mentioned to journal. If you even just want to think about it in your head, right?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, at any point of time, do you feel receiving is wrong? If you receive too much, you'll be seen as a bad person. If you receive too much, you'll be seen as a selfish person.
If you receive, you would be taking from someone else and robbing from them.
Yeah. If you receive, it means that you need to give the person back even more, and then that burdens you. Again, these are all what they call in Access Bars as well, points of views. They are not truth. They're points of views, belief systems that you picked up that's now sort of governing the way you come across when it comes to receiving ease.
Yeah, so I think these are two of the main concepts that we truly touch upon either on our one-to-one sessions, or we actually do have our manifestation workshops that happen intermediately, a couple of months here and there. So do journal, you know, in terms of what's potentially right about the situation you're in, because again, the reason you are currently where you are is because you're loving something about it. And on the contrary, look at what all the bad things may or may happen to you if your manifestations do come true. And third would be around receiving, right? So all the beliefs that Jay mentioned, look at them, reflect on them, and if you feel like that's you, well, guess what? You have the ability to change them. So go choose new points of views, and happy in manifesting. Manifestation. All right.
Same.
Yeah. All right. Please do leave your comments below, or DM us if you have any specific questions. If you are on this journey yourself, if you've been doing, I'm sure some of you out there have been on this path for a while. So if you have any specific questions, do let us know, because we would love to hear from you. And if not, we will see you in the next episode.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.